Okay, so let's go through this situation. At the center of the spread, I'm sensing here there is definitely a lot of emotional support, a lot of emotional security, happiness overall, and stability on the home front. Okay, this can be the physical location that you're living in, the structure, the foundation of the home. It can also just be hearing news from friends and family, and especially like loved ones in a family situation that is I almost feel like it brings you to tears, like tears of joy. I'm almost sensing that you are going to get news from people far away. It could be, if you're an empty nester, hearing good news from your hearing good news that your child landed that really lucrative job and there were like so many competitors, but your child was the one that they chose. Okay, it can be, acceptance letters for colleges, for example. So there's definitely a lot of emotional happiness, a lot of good news coming through. And the 10 of Cups on top of the Queen of Cups, it does indicate to me emotional bliss, and it's like the epitome or the apex of emotional happiness. And because it's coming through, it is going to create a new, brand new phase in your life. It's going to be able to break you away from the past so that you can look forward to a much better, much brighter, happier future. I don't feel the past was that complicated, was that troublesome. However, we do have, once again, Saturn transiting your sign. So I do feel that whatever ended needed to end, and there's no going back to it. You just can't really go back to it anymore with the Death card, okay? So bickering is I almost feel like a peace treaty. Something is culminated, and there's definitely a truce, a peace treaty coming through. It can be brokered by like an external force outside of yourself. It's definitely conflict is ending because we do have the Death card on the heels of the Hangman, and the conflict ended not because of the peace treaty, but mainly because whoever was involved in, the conflict, it can be you and another person, it can be a group of people against you, it can be you and a group of people against another person, but it's because there is a different sense of perspective. Everyone involved in that troublesome, meddlesome situation is now aware that there's more to life than holding on to grudges. So they're kind of like, playing nice, keeping the mouth shut, but I don't feel it's a superficial playing nice. I feel that deep down they know that, there has to be a better, a more productive channel for us to siphon our time, or there has to be a better way for us to spend our days or spend our time. So instead of bickering, let's just go for a hike, for example, and burn off all that excess energy. So there's definitely a truce that is long sustaining. There's a peace brokered between you and another party. And it seems to me like it is going to be sustainable, okay, long term, mainly because we do have the Death card on the heels of it, which signifies a brand new phase in life that is emerging. And you're going to be really happy about this, okay? On the romantic front, I do feel for a lot of you, the emotional stability, the emotional happiness is coming about from with the help of a water sign. The way I'm looking at this is a water sign is Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. And it can be their sun, moon, or rising, or it can be somebody who is very, very spiritual. And I do feel that the way this comes about is that you're pretty much for this month. Okay, so let's talk about the water sign first, and then we'll go into the other interpretation, which is something that I'm sensing very strongly. For a lot of you, there might be your spouse might be a water sign, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. You have just started dating a water sign, or there is a water sign in your midst, and the relationship becomes romantic by the end of this month. Because I do feel with the Four of Cups, it's sort of like somebody floating around your periphery. They have always been around. And it's one of those relationships where I feel like it's a major life changer. It is going to be long lasting. You yourself might not see the opportunity, mainly because you are occupied with legal issues. You are potentially a divorcee and you're still dealing with the aftermath. And you are at the point where, you're getting your butts kicked from the Saturn transit and you're trying to sort out your life and you're trying to declutter your life and you're not yet ready for another person to come into your life just yet. But the person is definitely there, and I do feel that it's one of those things where the universe has a very interesting way of bringing people into our lives. It's always when you least expect it, and then the timing is just pretty amazing. So you can know somebody for 3 months, 3 years, and then one day, under the right planetary alignment, under the right perfect conditions, that's when you start seeing them in a new light, and that's when the romantic feelings start flooding in. You can be friends with somebody for years, and all of a sudden it's just the right moment when you realize that, wow, I've never thought of this person in this way before. So I do feel that's something that's happening for a lot of you this month. There is a water sign in your periphery. And I do feel that, there is definitely that first hint at attraction, but the relationship itself is not coming together this month. It's going to come together possibly in the time of your birth date, which is going to run from, November 21st to possibly even the beginning of January. I feel that it's going to take about 3 weeks, three, I wouldn't say 3 weeks, 3 months. It's more like another month and a half. Towards the end of this year is when this is actually, it's going to be like this, where the other person pursues you, or you actually get out of your funk and you look around you and you see that, okay, wow, I'm seeing this person in a new light. So that's something that's going to happen for you. And either way, I do feel, at least in order for you to achieve the emotional fulfillment this month, there's actually somebody who is very nurturing, very supportive in your periphery, that's soothing out all the wrinkles in your relationship sector, in your household, somebody who's emotionally supportive. And they understand that you were embroiled in a conflict, and they're trying to nurture you, nurture your wounds, nurture your sense of if you accidentally stumbled into a conflict and then people are attacking you, this person is supporting you, and this person is the one that is ironing out the wrinkles in your life, is what I'm getting. And let me just say, one of the strong message that was coming through is, I don't feel that it has to be a water sign, but it's definitely somebody who's very emotionally supportive. For a lot of you, male or females, I do feel that there is definitely somebody in your life for this month that you've known for possibly the past few years. Well, Saturn just got out of Scorpio, so this can be a new person too. So it's either for the past few years or for the past 3 months, okay? And this person, the way I'm looking at this is, it's a very brave person. This is somebody who's kind of like staring death in the face, okay? There might have been a few near-death experiences in your life if you are a Sagittarius. And you might have had close encounters with death. And it basically, yeah, I feel like, yeah, it's coming through here. It's almost like you were embroiled in a very, very dangerous situation. You almost got yourself hurt very severely. I do feel this is a situation where it was it didn't happen this month, but I do feel that it's a culmination. It's like a process. It might have happened to you many, many times throughout your life where you were saved. You had close encounters with, death, and you were saved. And then, Sagittarius is a very spiritual sign, and a lot of Sagittarius, you believe that there is something out there. You might not believe in organized religion per se, but you do believe that there is some higher power governing the order of the universe. But you're actually getting confirmation this month that there is a greater power outside that is controlling your life, okay? You do believe in free will, but I do feel that there is a very strong psychic, very, very strong psychic connection coming through. And it's I do sense this heightened awareness of the higher order, of the higher power, is coming about mainly because of for the past year you were suffering, or you were going through a lot of strife with family members. Especially you were dealing with a lot of like legal issues, a lot of things that you believe were unfair, and the karma is now being restored. And in the process of restoring karma, we learn very important life lessons about where we stand with other people, who is really meant to be in our lives. But at the same time, we have to look in the mirror and re-examine what are some of our pitfalls. How are we, like sabotaging our own life, our own, how do we make life harder for ourselves and for other people? There's this whole process of re-examination is definitely coming through for this month. And because of it, I do feel that it is definitely making you stronger. Okay. And it's definitely it's coming through to help you confront a lot of the deeply buried issues in the past. So for those of you who might have been, dealing with, I don't know, I'm just throwing this out there. It's not going to apply to all. But I do feel possibly, with the the Five of Wands indicate conflict, okay? And I do feel it's usually in a domestic sense. So like physical, it could be physical altercations within the family unit. This can be something from childhood. This can be something from the recent relationship you were in, and you had to sever ties because it was just too painful. Okay, or a lot of you might have been in a situation where I'm sensing this, and once again, not going to apply to all, but I feel like I feel almost like it could have been like you standing by while an injustice happened to somebody else, and you're telling yourself, your main urge is that that's not right, I need to do something. But then your head overruled your heart, and your head is telling you, don't get involved, you're going to get hurt, don't you want to protect yourself first? So then there's definitely this inner conflict coming through, and it's something that you've been feeling guilty over. This can be a situation where you were in a relationship that wasn't very healthy, and you realize that it's affecting your children, for example. I hope this makes sense. But that came in very strongly. It's kind of like, in an indirect way, you're allowing something to happen when you know that you should have intervened. So a lot of you are dealing with this residual guilt that might have been triggered this month, or it might have happened like years ago, decades ago. But something is happening here where it's pretty much the end of a cycle. And because of it, it's allowing you an opportunity to heal. It's allowing you an opportunity to confront that darker side of yourself, for you to look into your past and to realize that, I shouldn't have done that. I should have stood up. But you realized that you didn't stand up because you were afraid. And there's nothing wrong with that. Fear is basically, it's a normal human reaction to threat. There's nothing wrong with that. And moving forward, you've learned this lesson the hard way. So release the guilt, and don't feel bad that you were hopeless or you were helpless in that situation, because If it were to happen again, I don't feel that you're going to, if it were to happen again, I do feel you're going to jump in and do the right thing. So, and either way, you're not going to put yourself in the same situation to begin with. So you are emerging from this wiser and smarter and just more braver as well, braver. So don't let the past haunt you. Let the guilt go, let the situation go. There's nothing you can do, okay? Just move forward with a better sense of enlightenment, I guess. I'm trying to see if there's any other strong messages. So moving forward, okay, so another thing coming through is for the past few months too, I've been seeing that a lot of you were very, very sidetracked when it comes to intuition, okay? And the Ace of Wands indicates passion, drive, ambition. As a Sagittarius, you have plenty of passion, drive, ambition. And I do feel that a lot of Sagittarius, you love the outdoors, you're very adventurous, you're very family oriented, you want to take care of your kids, but you're not a fussy mother the way Virgos are. You don't care if your kids are, pristine and neat and clean. You just want to make sure they're happy, they're well fed, and they're good kids. So you're not a fussy mother. And there's a point that I was getting at. But I do feel that, you understand the important things in life. You're not fussy. You're not perfectionistic, and you don't really care about the details. And I do feel that Sagittarius are probably the most adventurous sign of the zodiac. You like to travel, and you like new experiences. And all of these cards, it's interesting. All of these cards indicate to me the outdoors, except the two reverse cards, the Justice and the High Priestess. So you don't really want to be hemmed in. If you look at all these cards, it indicates, activities happening outdoors, and the two reverse cards are the ones that are taking place indoors. So you don't want to be hemmed in. You like wide open spaces. You like to roam. You like your imagination to be activated. And I do feel that in the process of always trying to expand outward, you're kind of, you don't have enough time for introspection, okay? You're constantly on the go. There's always something happening around you. There's always like a lot of events, a lot of things just swirling around you, and you don't have enough time for reflection. This is the month, especially the last week of this month, is a time of drawing your strength from within. You have the High Priestess, which is something, you need to do, but you haven't found the time, or you haven't felt the need to. And then you have the Queen of Cups, which is somebody who is potentially very, very, not only, emotionally in touch with herself, but she's also very introspective. It's the card of like somebody who's looking at a crystal ball. It's somebody who is potentially very psychic. The Four of Cups is a card of taking a rest, taking a reprieve, examining a situation thoroughly before you take action. Okay? So all of these three cards indicate to me that in the process of expanding your life, in the process of making ends meet, in the process of trying to accommodate, take care of everything in your life, you're not spending enough time to take care of yourself. So this is for the last 3 months, I'm going to say for the past 3 months, you're kind of being forced to slow down. And, you really need to slow down because you have some blockages here. And it's telling you, enough, you're jumping here into a potentially conflictual situation. You're supposed to go the other way because that's where the happiness is. And life has been a little bit chaotic, so this is a good month for you to unwind, focus on yourself, do some meditation, write some poetry. And I know that you don't really want to sit still and do tedious things because I wouldn't either, but go to a park, sit under a tree, watch people pass by, people watch, or read a book. Do some journaling out in the woods. I feel that it would be good for you because you really need to do it. And I do feel intuition is off track here. So you really want to do something that will get you into like in tune with your higher self. And I do feel that once again, when I was saying this, I do feel that there is going to be a very strong feminine presence in your life this month. And it is somebody who is very psychic. It's somebody who is very introspective, psychic, and nurturing. Okay, so this is it doesn't have to be a water sign, but I do feel a very strong female energy that is very psychic in your life. You might consult a psychic. You might, either way, this person is kind of like planted in your life. They might come and go within the span of like an hour or 4 hours, but they're going to change your life based on the things that they will reveal to you about life in general. So there's definitely a crossing over into the spiritual world. There's definitely a crossover. And there is a situation where you're kind of like your foot is on the other side, okay? And you're accessing information, you're accessing knowledge in a way that will really help you, guide you throughout the rest of this Saturn transit. So heed your inner voice. If there is that very spiritual woman, female energy coming through into your life, welcome her and take the advice that is sent out to you, because I do feel she is a messenger and there's news that you need to hear. I'm sensing there's news that you need to hear. It can be news from a loved one who might have passed away, either in a very, unexpected or possibly a violent way. This might have happened in the past and you're still, trying to figure things out. And there's news, messages coming through from the other side. It's going to come through as the woman is the one who is the messenger. And I do sense there might be some legal issues that you're still trying to sort out. It can be with property. And especially, yeah, I'm sensing very strongly property. So there's definitely messages coming through from the other side regarding some type of property. It can be like an inheritance that you didn't know about. It can just, I don't feel money coming through, but I do feel a property. Or either that, or you are looking for advice. You're kind of like ruminating. You're trying to plan out the next stage in your life, and you don't really know which way is the right way to turn because intuition has been a little bit off or it has been ignored. So this is the month for you to get in touch with your inner voice and for you to get messages coming through from the other side. All it takes is that you slow down, spend some time alone by yourself, do some journaling. And the information is kind of like it's waiting. The really important information from the other side is coming. And it's waiting for you to be calm enough in order to receive the messages. So